There are some scary things coming to Fortnite Battle Royale, and this is no exception. A few days ago, these images were data mined in the Fortnite Battle Royale files, and they hint at a potential new event or skin, or even a sea monster coming to Fortnite Battle Royale. The first image I'm going to show and put on screen right now is this new pickaxe concept. It isn't skinned, it isn't coloured or anything. This was just found in the Fortnite files as a base model. And as you can see, it looks like a fairly normal pickaxe, except there is a massive tentacle octopus head with its tentacles wrapped around the pickaxe. Now, the weird thing about this is that this is the first time we're seeing anything like this. Normally when pickaxes come out and cosmetics, they're normally bundled together with skins and other stuff related to the Battle Pass. Like, for example, in Season 4, when we had the Viking-themed Battle Pass with Ragnarok and the Viking skins, there were some random skins related to that came out in the shop, like Magnus, the male Viking that wasn't in the Battle Pass, but was released in the shop as kind of a separate thing, but it tied in to the season as a whole. What we're seeing right here doesn't tie into anything that we've been seeing so far. Season 7 is obviously related to the holiday season, Christmas, and we have the Ice King, we have, Santa Claus, we have the new Krampus skin, and all of this other stuff related to Christmas. And now we have this pickaxe. What this signifies, we don't yet know, as it's just a file, but as I've said previously, and it has been proven time and time again, Fortnite are no strangers to dropping hints for further, bigger updates in the future. And this, I believe, is exactly that. Now, what I believe this signifies is something to do with the water. As I mentioned in a previous video about me talking about underground and underwater exploration, there was a tweet by Donald Mustard which kind of hinted and implied that we were going to be exploring underwater in future seasons of Fortnite, and this very well could be one of the stepping stones to get into that point, because right now we have a massive collection of ice over at Polar Peak and the surrounding area. What's going to happen when that stuff melts? There's going to be new underwater areas, there's going to be new excuses to explore underwater. Maybe some of it disappears back into the sea, and there's maybe a big massive flood over that corner of the map where most of the buildings over there get dragged back into the ocean, and maybe through that event, through that flooding, and through that, massive collection of buildings being dropped into the sea, it disturbs some sort of ancient creature underwater. What I'm referring to here is Cthulhu. Now, Cthulhu is one of the underwater, ancient god monsters from the works of author H.P. Lovecraft. He was the one who made, all these tentacle monsters. He made Cthulhu, big, massive 300-foot tentacle man with wings. That's him. That's Cthulhu. And there's a lot of media nowadays which draws inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft's work. He's a very popular horror author. So I believe Fortnite here are trying to implement some of that into their game, because now we're exploring underwater. And the thing with Cthulhu in H.P. Lovecraft stories, he was trapped underwater in an ancient city. He was slumbering, he was asleep, and then something eventually awoke him. It was kind of the humans trying to contact him or kill him, and that's how, he rose from the water to kind of take over the earth. So that could potentially be what's happening right here. Fortnite have taken inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft, they've taken inspiration from Cthulhu, and they're trying to implement this kind of underwater monster and make this underwater exploration a reality. Because obviously, as I mentioned in a previous video talking about all the map changes, I mentioned something along the lines of how they can't be changing the map every now and again constantly over time to keep things fresh. They're eventually going to run out of ideas. People are eventually going to get sick and tired of them changing the map every now and again, and they're going to get sick and tired of things always being different and them not getting used to the map. So I suggested and mentioned that they could potentially be trying to expand the map as a whole by going underwater instead, and creating new areas to explore, and creating a new meta for the game by using underwater, because as you guys know, underwater things in this game isn't really an option right now. You know, if you go to any edge of the map, you just see miles and miles of water, nothing underneath it. If you drop into it, you die. So they could potentially be trying to change that whole thing and use underwater exploration as the next big stepping stone for Fortnite, and using this kind of Cthulhu inspiration would be a great way for them to do that. How they could do that as an event, I don't yet know. But obviously, Fortnite are known for their big, massive, extravagant events, with the butterfly effect event with the cube and the rocket launch. They managed to do very well at doing these kind of massive set-piece events. So maybe it could come down to cosmetics being released of stuff related to Cthulhu, so like Cthulhu cultists, because in the story, in H.P. Lovecraft's work, Cthulhu is worshipped by loads of people across the globe who make sacrifices and do rituals to him, and they all become deformed and they all wear masks and everything like in his name. So they could potentially, Epic could release some skins related to that, maybe a hooded tentacle man with this pickaxe. We don't yet know exactly what form this is going to come, but it's definitely a step in the right direction to this underwater exploration. And as I mentioned, with the whole snowy part of the map, that is either going to eventually melt and the buildings are going to remain, or it's going to cause a massive flood and some of the buildings are going to be, sunk to the bottom of the sea, which could disturb Cthulhu or, Epic's own monster that they create for this reason. And that is how they could set up the next event. After the snow melted, after the massive flood, it disturbs something underwater, and now we're starting to see cultists appear. We're starting to see the land turn into, kind of a tentacle horror realm, and then he rises out of the water and he destroys part of the map or something. We'll just have to wait and see, but I think this is very, very cool. I'm so glad that there is more information now backing up my whole theory of being able to explore underwater. The previous bit of information that we had, the only bit of information we had, was the fact that Donald Mustard tweeted about this, saying that they could potentially be exploring stuff to do with underwater exploration in Season 9. He didn't actually say that they were going to do it. He didn't explicitly, announce that that's what they were going to do, but he did mention something about jumping off a cliff into water coming in future seasons. And now we have this pickaxe, which is very much related to Cthulhu. Cthulhu is trapped underwater. So it's kind of just a game of connecting the dots at this point, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Your support on the last video was amazing. We had a good discussion down there. You guys had some great ideas about what you thought. So let me know in this video what you think about this whole Cthulhu situation, about this pickaxe, about underwater exploration. I'd love to hear your guys' side of the story. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, subscribe down below. And with that, my name has been Sleek Ozzy, and I will see each and every one of you in my next video. Goodbye, guys.